Hey everyone, Darren Carnell here with no coffee again. I do that every time. No coffee, okay, fine. Hi, Darren Carnell here. Hello. Welcome to part 36 of the Man with No Name tutorial, exclusively for you patrons, because you are lovely, lovely people. Okay. Man with No Name statue. So the last time we did some of the geometric patterns on his poncho and they look great, with a little bit of weathering and stuff, which we'll do. They're going to look brilliant. I was pleasantly surprised how straight enough they looked, because I didn't want them to look machined. I didn't want them to look like strips of tape, like perfectly. I wanted them to look like they'd been embroidered, so there's a little bit of unevenness if you looked, but they basically look like and they did, which was great. So I was surprised and pleased with that. I said that I was going to do on the poncho, there was the bits that I did, there was some strips and there's like it's like a square G shape, like the letter G sort of there or somewhere. We did that. We did some strips. There was some ones on his shoulder that sort of looked like little leaves, little oval shapes with a strip in the middle. Did some of those. And there's the bit that goes round the bottom of the whole poncho, sort of that much off the bottom edge. So there's tassels, and there's that much empty fabric, and then here there's a strip that goes around the whole lot, around the front and around the back. And it's two white lines, and inside that are lots of little thin lines in particular patterns. It's like 3 blocks of 3, and then 2 going up, and 3 blocks of 3, and 2 going down. And when you study the thing, you see the pattern. And we're going to try that now. And I'm sort of nervous because, let me just shuffle my chair into place. I'm sort of nervous because looking at this thing, it looks the other ones were little square. They were quite chunky and they were short in length, so it was easy to get them doing a thing without, anything noticeable that you could spot. These ones are going to be big long lines going all the way across, and they follow the wavy shape of the fabric. Or there's one that comes up the side where he's got the poncho thrown over and it comes up the side, and we've got to do that. And I'm sort of nervous about doing it because I don't know how neatly I'll be able to do it, and it may completely mess up. It may take me a bunch of attempts to get it right, but I'm going to have a spare brush on hand in case I mess it up, so I can dip it in some water and clean it off. But we will try it and see if I can make it work. That's it. Let's give it a go. Let me just check. Music on, counter working, volume, bob is on. Okay, cool. All right, I will bring this light in, and maybe about there. Let's find out. Ooh, that's not right. Hang on. Webcam settings, camera 2. Boom. There you go. But that is zoomed in, which for this we don't want, so zoom back out. There you go. Right, let me fidget this into place. Okay, so you can see that looking cool. So there's a bit that comes up here. It's probably not the easiest bit to do. I've got to do a bit here, bit here, a bit here, a bit that goes all the way around the bottom there. And to be honest, those ones are probably easier to do, but why start with the easy ones? What's going to be difficult is being able to hold it right. Let me hang on a second. Ooh, just realised I'm not in the corner. Hello. Right, let me get the roll of kitchen paper again, like I used last time. Is this going to be useful? Maybe. See, it's difficult because I normally use this hand to steady the brush, but I can't do that if I'm holding the object. Don't be moving backwards. I know. It's sliding because it's on the desk and not on that. I had that there last time. Then that. And then that. It's still a really awkward angle. I could do with that being up like that, but you know what? I don't know. None of it seems easy. Okay, my hand is so wobbly when because I'm pretend painting it to see how sturdy I can get it, and just none of it seems right. Where's the thing? Okay, so there's the line. Where does that line go? That goes up there, that goes up there. I think I'm just going to have to go for it and try it with holding the thing. Oh, the white is making everything go weird. Right, let me try and adjust the lighting because it shouldn't do that every time. Hang on, that's my camera. I don't want to adjust my camera. I want to adjust the pointing down camera. Right, so okay, so when things get bright, it does that. So if I do it manually, whoop, that might not be helpful. I mean, I'm messing with the exposure and the gain to try and see, the brighter you get, sometimes you find a frequency, there you go, where it doesn't really happen. Close enough. Okay, so like last time, I'm reaching over here to get to the palette. I'm gonna, you know what, I'm gonna use a bigger brush than that to put the paint down because that will just need cleaning. Right. So I'm using, same as last time, I'm using some pale flesh. I have to think about that. Using some pale flesh. Watered down. I not want too much out because I'll just end up having to remix it anyway and it'll dry, so I figured I'll just use a bit and then redo it each time. Oh my god, I'm mumbling. You know what? I'm thinking so much about how this is going to work, I'm not even thinking about what I'm saying to you guys. I'm just sort of mumbling along, which is not brilliant. Right, this brush might not be pointy enough. Hang on. Might be okay because these first lines are quite thick. So where are we on the camera? Okay. Okay, that's the first bit of a line. There's an annoying hair thing, bristle coming off the brush. That was getting in my way. Right, so I'm going to do the same thing again and go over it and try and make it a bit neater. Cramp. Okay, so we can go back to that line because I've got to let that dry. I've had a few layers on it already. So I'm going to start on the next one. Okay, just did a bit that was a bit smudgy, so fixed it up and carry on. But it's awkward going around a corner, and because I'm doing it without a steadying hand, bit difficult. And like I said, I think in the last video, if I do any bits on these and I'm not happy with how they turned out, I'll just get the base colour, the brown or the green or whatever it is, wherever I'm doing it, and I can neaten up the edges or change the shape sort of from the outside in, so to speak, because sometimes with certain things that's easier. Ow, ow, ow. Well, that's not bad. Can be neatened up a bit and will be, but for a first pass with not much steadying ability, I'm quite happy with them. because with a few extra coats over those, they'll straighten up and we'll get the thickness of them exactly right, because they're slightly different in some parts, sort of the thickness of the lines, and we'll even those up. But that's okay as a first bit. The bit that I'm more interested in is the next bit, where there's the lines that are in between these lines, and there are 3 sets of 3, and they're very thin, and this is slightly a worry because there's no real room to fix them. Like with these thick bits, you can go over them and you can make the edges bigger, and you have second chances, put it that way. And with the thin lines, I've lost my thing. Where's it gone? I had a thing. You'll have seen where I put it, and I've completely forgotten where I put it. A brush protector. Oh, hang on, I can feel it. There it is. So yeah, with the thick things, you can go over them a few times and whatever, and these next bits are really thin lines, so it's sort of get them right first time, and I frankly I don't like that. I'm not that good a painter. That's not the brush I wanted. I'm trying to find a brush. Let me see. Whoops. Big drop of water, which we don't want. That might work. Okay, pay attention. See the protector? I'm putting it up here at the top. Don't let me forget. Okay. So it's 3 lots of 3. 3 lines and a big gap. 3 lines and a big gap. And they go up to the edge. 3 lines and a big gap, 3 lines and a big gap, and then the shapes go up and down and up and down. Okay. Sorry, just looking at photos and stuff, trying to figure out how this goes. See, there's a weird one on his back. Okay, I'll have to remember that. Okay, fine. Now, I'm not entirely convinced about this brush I'm using, because it's long, and long brushes have the tendency to give you less control because they go and they can wobble very easily. On the other hand, if you see people who do paint detailing on cars, they like hot rods, and they paint the straight lines on them, they use long bristles, because if you can get it right, the thing sort of pulls itself. Where's my hands? Sort of pulls itself in a straight line. It's like a thing going behind a boat. It just sort of pulls in the right place. And that's the thing with this, but if you don't get it right, which I'm sort of expecting not to, then it goes wobbly. Okay, so the one at the bottom there is... Where's this other picture? Oh, there he is. Hello. Okay. So I will try it. Let's see. Oh, I don't know where's going to be easiest. See, none of this is easy. No. No. It's all no. I'm trying to figure out how the best way to do this. No. Don't fall over. See, gap, gap. Ugh. See, it's difficult also, not just painting straight lines that are very thin, but getting them in the right place, because there's like 2 gaps in the middle and then blocks of 3. Okay, so you start there and go down to there, and we want a gap there, so there's 1 there. Okay, that wasn't too bad. So we want 3 there, gap 1, 2, 3, gap 1, 2, 3. Okay. See, I am of course doing this the difficult way by trying to paint exactly what the poncho is. I've seen replicas, whether it's painted statues or action figures where someone has made their own poncho and painted it, or sculpted busts and they've painted it or whatever, where instead of trying to do these 3 lines, wobbly, these 3 sets of 3, instead of trying to recreate them, I know what's causing the problem. There's some loose hairs at the front there. Oh, go away. I've seen people where instead of trying to recreate it and do it properly, they basically skimp out and say, well, I know there's supposed to be 9 lines per bit in 3 blocks of 3 with gaps, but they just sort of do like 2 lines and leave it. And in general it sort of works because it still looks like a poncho, but there's supposed to be 3 lots of 3 lines, not 2 lines. It's 9 lines is very different. I do think I've done that a bit too big to fit in. If that's 3 there, that's going to be 3 there. I think those 3 might be, I might need to fix those because they might be too big and a bit too far that way. I know you can't see much here. Look, here's what I'm doing. See the lines there? I think I've done them slightly too spread out. But like I said, anything I need to fix, I can fix. So I can go back. What I can do, if this is supposed to be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, and a gap. 1, 2, 3, and a gap. I'll try. How close to the edge does it go? So it's the same distance. Okay. Going from this edge. If I need to fix it, I'll fix it afterwards. But let me just try. Oh, so difficult. So difficult. One, two, three, gap there. Okay, so there and there. Now I suspect these lines may need a fair bit of fixing because they are going on wobbly. I know these last couple of videos have been very chatter free. I promise at some point we will get onto things like painting his gun or I don't know, his belts or something, and that'll be nice and interesting and lots of talk and, you know, me waffling on about stuff. But this is just so fiddly and concentraty that my brain just switches off. Try and do those middle lines. Difficult. So there's going to be one there. Actually, that's a good way of doing it. Blocking them in first. That is a very useful way of doing it. Well done, Darren. I think those ones might need moving over, but I can do that afterwards. Is the camera still on? Sorry, I'm leaning right in front of that, aren't I? Sorry. I'm trying to get close. Okay, so what I can see is the first group of lines I did were too far across. Now that paint will have dried by now, so either I need to, before I come to this, and I might come back to this, I might do all the others and then come back and fix it afterwards. I either need to mix this green colour again and just paint over it and redo it, or I'm just wondering, sometimes you can get away. No, it's sort of scraping up the green as well. Sometimes if there's a bit that's been dry for ages and there's a bit that's just been put down, sometimes you can scrape it off and it's fine, but depending on the surface, sometimes it takes up what's underneath it. And this one has taken up what's underneath it. Actually, no, it's not too bad. Might mean that I have to do less green, so I suppose that's not a bad idea. I'll tell you what, I can do that off camera. What I'll do with those very first lines that I did that were in the wrong place, I'll do what I'm doing here, which is gently scraping the cream paint off without scraping all the green off, and it's not getting all of it off, but it's thinning it down, and then I will mix some of the green again, paint over it, and redo that first block of lines there, because they were too far across and too spread out, but the other ones are okay. So it's basically 3, 3, 3. That's what they've all got to be like, and then a little gappy bit in between where it does a different pattern, and that pattern is 3, oh no, it's 2, 3 and 2, and very close together. Oh my god. So 2 in the gap, and 3, and then 2 in the gap. I know I'm just saying random numbers to you and it doesn't mean anything, but I'm looking at where things have to go. So 2 in the gap, 3, 2 in the gap. Right. So let's try this. Get some paint. That's down here, so you might not be able to see it, but I can't really do this because, like a head, where I would normally hold it under the camera, there's no way I can do that with a thing that's this heavy, especially when I'm doing a bit that's so awkward. So it just has to be here, unfortunately, and it means I keep on leaning into the shot. Let me see if I can maybe put the camera there and then tilt it back a little bit so I'm not so much leaning in. Right, what did I say? 2, 3 and 2, and it starts off in this gap. So there's 2 here. How does it go? Oh, it goes down. Oh, I see. 2, 3 and 2. Right. Two. Where's that going to? There. 3. And 2. Roughly. Getting eaten up, but that's roughly how they go. And then there's another set of... See, this is going to be long and slow, so what I'm going to do is all of the rest of it I will do by myself, but I wanted you to see how I was doing it. Now, what I'll try with these ones again is marking them on, so the gaps go there, so that gap goes there, which means there, there and there, so that means a gap, so that means there, where's the gap? There, there and there, and that's a gap there, there and there. Okay, so I've just put dots where the lines are going to start, unlike last time where I just painted a line. I've sort of put like guide dots to show me. See those dots? They are guide dots to let me know where it starts, so I can start from there and then paint onwards. What I am noticing is every time especially down here, every time I pick up the brush, it's doing a little flick off to one side, clearly because of the way I'm lifting it up. I've got to be careful with that because that's going to leave marks that I don't want. I mean, like with everything else, they can all be fixed, but I'd rather just get it right. The less things I have to fix up afterwards, the better it is. I mean, what I could have attempted to do with all this to give me more flexibility without getting things wrong would be to treat it in a similar way that I do pupils on eyes. So instead of going in bold with the colour that it is, going in with a thin watered down version and painting multiple layers on top, and that might have given me more time to get each, positioning right and each stroke right and built up in layers. Or it might have just looked a bit messy because, well, it just might have. Oh, what am I doing that for? Stupid. I'm just completely painted beyond where it needed to go. Oh, nice save, Darren. That's what I get for talking. Okay. So you see the little bit in the middle, there's a little pattern there, and there's going to be another one here that goes the other way, and then more lines. Now the thing is, what I've got to get right, and I haven't done it yet, so I will fix it on these ones that I've done and carry it on. They are, because of the way I've been painting them, I'm not getting the spacing exactly right. I'm painting them in 3 blocks of 3, but they are more going on, almost as if it's just one continuous load of 9 lines, and it's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be 3 closer together, and then a gap, and then 3 closer together, and then a gap, and then 3 closer together. So I will fix that on those two. Now what I'll do next is the little patterny ones, and then we'll do, what I think we'll do is one more block up here, see if I can get the spacing right without needing to fix it, because I can go in and fix it, that's easy enough. I would just like to get at least one on camera that is blocked in right, then I don't need to fix. Okay, so this where are we? So that goes down there, so above, oh, is that in line? Right, hang on. So there's a sleeve. I've done those the wrong way around. Those 3, it might not matter, most people won't know, but I've said it now so you do know. Those 3 lines, up there and there and there, they're supposed to go the other way. It's supposed to start there and go there and go there, and then repeat up. Now, most people would never know that, most people would never see that. I do, and it's annoying. So what I'm going to do is do this next one the same as that, and I will fix that one afterwards. So it goes, if I can put it somewhere where I can lean on it. Come on. Okay, so let's see. So it's this one goes. Hang on, where is that? Not in line with this cuff. Yeah, that goes that way, which means this one goes that way. Right. So there's helps if the paint hasn't dried on your brush. Where are we? So it's 2, 3 and 2, okay. Two, three, and 2. Okay, 2, 3 and 2. I'll neaten those off and straighten them up with a second coat, but they are basically in the right place. Wobbly. Okay, cool. Because they're quite small, these things. You can't even hardly see them when they're on. So that's that. Right. So the next one's going from there to there. Now I would like to get this one, the blocking of it right, just so I can go, there you go, there's one, and then I can fix the others, and that's fine. Right. So if the gap is there, how big is the gap? The gap is like an extra line, isn't it? Okay. So there's 2 gaps in the positions of the thirds. Gap. So 1, 2, 3. Now it's done it again. So I put the markings in and I'm like, okay, that's where it needs to go to have a gap. And then I paint them on and it's like, no, I can see that there's not already not going to be a gap there. Why is it so difficult? Feels like it would be easier if it was all painted white and I was painting the brown or green stripes onto it. That would be easier to put the two gaps down in the position of the thirds. Okay, where's the line gone? There. Okay, so there is a gap there, so let's move over to there. So there's a gap there. So there's a gap there. Okay, that's a bit better. So let's put the next ones down. Can you see this? Okay. So there's a gap here. And there's a gap, and then there's a gap. Why is that? Huh. So those ones. Okay, so those two can move over. Okay. It's alright, I was just figuring something out. Alright. So I've got that. I've just figured out the positioning of the little small ones a bit better. Where they fit in with these gappy one, with these, you know, the big ones. Let's see if I can. Is that camera okay? Okay. Hello, I'm painting.
What?
I'm painting.
Okay. Say hello.
Okay, almost done here. Right, so they need a couple of extra coats, and they need straightening up and filling in and stuff, because that's just like the first layer, which is, as we saw with the others, a bit wobbly, but then you put others on and they straighten up. But you can see already those ones are a bit better, because you can see there's 3 lines there, then there's a dark gap, like a thick gap, then there's 3 lines, then there's a gap, and then there's 3 lines. That's how it's supposed to be, not these things which I'll paint over and fix, so ignore them, because it's awkward to paint, so I guess I had to do it to, you know, figure out how to do it. Okay, but they are at least going to be in the right proportion, with the thick line on the outside and 3 lots of 3 on the inside with the gaps, which is better than most statues that you see, because they just go, oh, let's just put 2 lines there, it'll be fine. And, well, no, of course it won't be fine. Why would you do that? Okay, so let me get that out of the way a second. Oh, excuse me. Burp. Okay, so that's how he's looking. So if you ignore the messy ones and you imagine those lines, little 3, those lines, little 3, and then it goes round there, all the way around there, all the way around there, all the way around. So there's loads basically, but it's all going to be like that all the way across. Let me lift this a little bit higher, because then it's easier to show you. So you ignore those ones and just imagine that it's like that all the way down. So 3, 3, 3, little ones, 3, 3, 3, and then that down there, up to there, across, where are we? Across there, and then around the back and around the side. Cool. And I've got a couple of little ones of these to do. There's a little one up there that should be there, and there's one down there that should be there. But they can be done nice and easy. That's quite good. That's really starting to look good. And these are just the first layers as well. So these ones will get straightened up with extra layers, and then when they're all done, they will get weathered and aged and set back into the fabric, and they're going to look really good. They will look properly like, you know, embroidered part of the woven fabric or whatever it is. That's going to look really good there. Cool. Well, that has taken me an hour to to do that much. The next ones should be quicker, but what I will do, let me flick back to the main camera when it wants to. There you go. Hi. So what I will do is I will do the rest of them off camera, just because you've just watched me do them, and that was an hour of watching me trying to paint little thin lines, and it's going to be that. Looking at how long that took, and I've got to fix the first ones again anyway, that's probably going to take me about 3 or 4 hours to get around doing those, so I'm not going to subject you to that, but I will do it before the next video. So that's it for now. We'll just get on with it so I can get this video saved, and I will carry on painting. So that's the poncho. We're making progress. Once these lines are all done and they've been neatened up, I'm just looking at the pictures while we're talking. Once those lines have all been put on and they've been neatened up, and you know, the first ones fixed, and they are all the way round, we've then got to do the pattern on the back of his thing, which I will probably do that one on camera, just because that's a different geometric pattern, and you can watch me mess that one up as well. So we'll do that, and then it's on to adding the weathering and the layers and the age and making it look like fabric and stuff like that. And that's interesting. That's sort of messy dabbing around stuff, which is quite interesting because I can talk while I'm doing that, and it's quite fast as well. This stuff takes forever. starting to realise that doing statues, doing things like this on statues, takes longer than I realise, and I'm going to have to pay attention to that when I'm giving people quotes as to how much things are going to cost. Right, thanks for sticking with me. Have a good day, have a good evening or weekend or wherever you are. Look after yourselves, look after everyone around you, and I will see you for part, what did I say this was? 36? Let me check. I said that this was part, yeah, this is part 36. I will see you for part 37, and those lines will have been done. Yeah, they will. I was just thinking, hang on, do I want to do that? Yeah. I'll get those lines done before the next video, and I will see you for part 37, and we'll do the back, and then probably part 38 onwards we'll do all the weathering and stuff. And then we can get on to doing the shirt, and making the shirt look like a sort of minute stripes, and adding maybe some more weathering onto this, and we've got the belts to do. We'll start flying around it then. Cool, that's looking good. Right, take care everyone. I will see you soon. As always, send me any questions, show me things you're working on, subscribe to me on YouTube, all of that stuff. And thanks for being here on Patreon, just because. Thank you, because you help, because you're amazing. So thanks for that. And that's it, I'm going. I keep saying goodbye, right? Now, actually, goodbye for real this time. It's difficult saying goodbye when you're trying to think of you. Am I going to say something else? No, just say goodbye. Right, I'm going. Have fun. Bye.